Hello, everyone. How you guys are doing today? Thank you for the platform, Sharon, and I thank you all for being part of my life. This community has been so good to me, and I am privileged. When I say I'm privileged to be part of you guys. And you look at me and you see a person and you think that everything is all right. You think that I have no quarrels, no worries. But do you see my scars? Do you see the 10-inch scar on my chest? Do you see the scar on my carotid? Or the surgeries I had, or the gap they had to take the vein out of my body. You see my story. It's like everybody's story, every woman's story. We live life, we go about life and think we're superwoman, and we try to accomplish a lot. But are we truly taking care of our lives? Are we taking time to assess our lives? And really, you have to ask yourself, who's coming to your rescue? Who is going to be that superwoman for you? So as I speak, I want you guys to examine your life and have my life just be an example so that you don't have to live life the way I do. And I talk a lot about my scars. You see, my scars tell a story. It tells the story of my battles, but most of all, my victories. And coming to be the person who I am, because ultimately, my scars define me. And I understand that. My journey started in 2014. I'm still a wife, a mother, a student, doing everything for everyone. And I was at work one day, going about business and I was always on the go. We as women, we multitask and we make it work somehow. But life stood still. I was having a headache. I wasn't paying attention to the signs, the warning signs or nothing, but I had this major headache and I told my boss I wanted to go home. And so I did that. I went home and I went to sleep. And immediately when my daughter came home at 3 o'clock, I jumped up because I was late. I was behind schedule. I had to cook for my husband. I had to get my son prepared for soccer practice, and I had a test to take at school. And so she noticed something was weird. She says, Mom, you're talking funny, because I'm multitasking. I'm in the kitchen, pots and pans, and I'm asking her how her day is going, multitasking, right? And so she says, Mom, you sound funny. So she had to know wits to call my sister. She says, Mom, something's going on. And I'm talking, I'm like, I'm fine. So she called the EMS. And they came and they took my blood pressure, did some other work. And the guy, he didn't even want to tell me how high my blood pressure was. He told me, he says, we have to go. I'm like, nope, I am not going. I didn't go. Because guess what? I was worried because I was behind schedule. And I didn't plan for this. And so I went back to bed and I had like an hour before I had to hop up to go to school. And my husband came home and I got up starting to get ready to go to class. And my foot wouldn't move. I'm like, something's weird. And my husband says, nope, we're going to the hospital. And so he pulled me to the hospital and I'm upset. I'm like, gee, I'm upset. I studied, I have a test to take, and this is not part of my plan. And when I got to the hospital, when I went in, and the nurse said, possible stroke, my life stood still. And I'm like, what does all this mean? And the doctor's coming in, they're putting all type of stuff on me. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But I was put in a corner for a reason. And my sister was my advocate. And about 2 weeks later, I was in hospital, just, pumping me all kind of stuff to get my blood control, get my arteries to disseminate what was going on to my brain, because I had a slow bleed, which is the ischemic attack in my brain. And I went to rehab and it was surreal. Carrie, I'm 41 years old, a wife, a mother. And you think of rehab, a place for elderly people or people who are sick. I didn't have this in my plan. This is not part of the deal. So I spent 2.5 weeks, I think, in rehab, learning how to move, physical therapy, PT, cognitive, everything. It was a schedule. And every night in rehab, I cried because this is not part of my plan. So I came out, I did what I needed to do. I came home to a nurse and my children, even the basic needs that we take for granted, brushing our teeth, combing our hair, getting out of bed. I'm here 41 years old and I couldn't do anything for me. And it was surreal. For a person who's always in control, having to relinquish control, it was hard. You know, talk about how, you know, you're sick and the nights last long. They do last long, but, you know, joy comes in the morning. I look forward to waking up. I look forward to the day that I can see the sunrise. And I held on to that. And I was at sleep one day. It was like probably 2 weeks after I came home because I had PT at home. I'm still trying to recover. I came home to a wheelchair and a walker, and I'm having PT at home and just assessing and just feeling depressed, trying to figure out what was going on. And then at night, it was probably 11 o'clock at night, I started having these thumps, these pain. It felt like lightning bolts. It would come and it would go, and it was not in one place. It was in my back. And I'm like, wow, it's weird. It would be shock. It was like a shock. It came and went. And I'm like, what's going on? I woke my husband up and said, you know, something's going on because this was weird. And he took me to the hospital. And the doctor who saw me like 2 months ago was there. And she's like, why is she back? She had a stroke, and why is she back? So they took me in and they started doing all type of tests. Machines are going off. And ultimately they did an echo. And then it got real because I had to actually be transferred to Broward General stat immediately because the echocardiogram showed some myopathy or some whatever was going on within my heart. And so they took me to North Broward immediately. And I was given a catheterization on a cath lab. And the procedure was going well. It was fine. I'm like, I'm going to get out. I have things to do. I have all this information, this test that I studied for. And I'm like, I need to get back to me. And I wouldn't forget it because the test went by really fast. And afterward, a doctor came in. 3 doctors actually came in. And I would never forget this doctor's name. His name is Dr. Cantanella. He said, hi, my name is Dr. Cantanella, and I'm the thoracic surgeon. And I stopped. I'm like, wait a second. And he started talking. I couldn't understand. It was like my world was spinning because he was saying all this stuff that they're going to have to do. And they saw blockage. And I was like, wow, it was surreal. I looked into my husband's eye and I'm like, how do I fix this? How did I get here? And my widowmaker, if you guys know what that is, you know, you hear about the Hollywood heart attack when a person just grabbed their clutch and they die. My widowmaker was 99% block, which meant I had to have immediate intervention because I could have bleed out within the space of a few minutes. This how real my situation got. Here I am, 41 years old, going about life, taking care of everybody, but not assessing my life and having time for self-care because I know as a woman, as a wife, a mother, it felt selfish to me to care for myself. Even to go to the bathroom and be left alone, it kind of felt weird because I'm always the caretaker. We are the caretaker of everyone. I had to have immediate open heart surgery, not only 1, 2, 3, a bypass, which meant I was on a heart and lung machine for 9 hours, where they had to actually put me on, like I said, heart lung machine, stop my heart from beating to go in to fix the blockage that was so messed up. And to wake up in ICU, I'm not sure the day or the time, but I woke up to all type of machines, all type of lights, and I was like, wow, I wouldn't wish that on one person. And I did what I needed to do. It was excruciating. The pain was unbearable. I came home to silence. I came home to assess my life. Actually, I came home to die because I thought that I was going to die in my sleep. My situation went from bad to worse, and I was not in control. I couldn't understand what was going on, but all I did was focus on the light, God, and assess my life and figure out what was going on. Like I said, I was depressed. I was home doing nothing, feeling pity for myself. And I started to just try, I was like, okay, I went to a doctor one day, a cardiologist, he told me, he says, we've done all the interventions we can do. Now you can go home and take your meds because we've done all we can do. And that night I had to watch my son's game because he was in a championship on FaceTime. And I'm like, no, there is more to life than this. Why am I preparing my funeral and making arrangements? No, I want to live. So I started looking on the website, I started Facebook, I started groups, I started going to seminars and just learning and learning how to take control. Because you see, I gave up my control when I took care of everybody except myself. So I was selfish. Heck, yes, I was. I started to take care of me and understand. And Lisa, my sister-in-law, invited me to Michelle's house where T actually invited her. And I met them and they were talking about fruits and vegetables. Now, at this point, I would try anything, anything that would bring me back to a sense of who I was. So I was doing the raw, I was doing the juicing, I was trying everything. And I'm like, what, fruits and vegetables? Oh, I can try this too. So I did. And I started, eating the fruits and vegetables. I started learning and I started doing, I started modeling behaviors because I see Michelle, I see T, I see Sonia, they're cooking, they're moving, they're active. And I'm like, wait a second, I'm with the right crew. So I started emulating what they're doing, modeling what they started doing. Because I'm like, no, I want to live. And how do I live? Because I didn't know. I was used to, my barbecue ribs and not exercising because my hair was cute. That's how it is. And I had to get real with myself and says, girlfriend, you're going to have to change a lot of stuff. Yes, I spent a lot of time speaking to myself in the mirror because I had to take that reality check. And I hope that we all do that because our life matter. And so I started learning, I started growing, I started walking. And when I started walking, Lisa could attest to this, I had a walker. And I would just make it out to the front of my lawn just to see the sunrise in the morning. And gradually that walker became a chair. And I started taking a few steps. I started moving. I started going to the Juice Plus events. People were calling me. I was connected. I was plugged into the source. And I started growing. I felt like I was taking control. Now, having heart disease, coming from a stroke, it's not easy. And I tell people that I live in a defensive mode. That's why I think this is my life purpose, to let people know, hey, I was given a warning sign. And sometimes you get no warning. A stroke can be disable you beyond recognition. A heart attack could be the end. So that's why when I speak and I tell you guys to know your numbers, or my platform, just growing and understanding, hey, I started learning about my numbers. Now, I was diabetic. I never knew what an A1C was. Doctors always tell me I lose 10 pounds when I went to the doctor. But you know what? I knew what my A1C was. I knew what my total cholesterol was. I knew what my BMI was. And guess what? I started to track those. I loved myself enough to put in the work to understand what my numbers meant to me. Now I know the numbers are a precursor for what's going on in your body. So it's important, especially dealing with diabetes. And that's why I speak mostly to my African-American community. We can look good on the outside, but it's the inside that's dying. And I say Juice Plus has bridged that gap with me learning of gaining independence to plugging into the system of growing, not only mentally, but physically also, because I'd say in this past 3 years, I am living, I'm thriving. Granted, my days sometimes are not so good, but I am glorified because now my bad days are not outweighed my good days. And I just thank God for the opportunity. And I have been given a platform. I am actually the American Heart and the ADA ambassador, where I tell my story, not only to myself, but to the masses. But you know what? It's that one person I want to reach. It's my sister. It's my friend. It's my family member that don't know, that needs to hear the message that we as women need to take care of ourselves. And as I speak as a woman, we have men on the line too. Ask your wife, ask your mother how they're doing. Tell them, take time out, assess, make that doctor's appointment, take accountability, make it a collaborative effect where you go to the doctors and understand and build a relationship. We only have one life. And guess what? My scars, they don't define me. They just tell a story. And my scars actually, there's purpose for pain, I was told. And my pain has become my platform. And I thank God for his grace and his glory. I thank God for the community. I am tapped into something that I can't let go of. It's given me help, and I can tap in. And as Sonia has taught me how to cook better, and I think the teacher has made the student has become the master, because I'm like in overflow in the kitchen. I didn't know I had these talents, but guess what? I'm growing, I'm happier, I'm loving myself. So you see, these physical scars, they don't define me. They just tell a story of my battles, but mostly my victories. But most over, my mission in life is to help people. And I thank Juice Plus and everyone who's part of my life for just tapping into that source.